What's tougher than a Capcom Street Fighter?
A Street Fighter's mother?
No! How about the Crimson Cruiser with Championship Edition M. Bison and Street Slammin' missiles? It's not as tough as Championship Edition Guile going boom in his Sonic Boom tank. Or the Beast Blaster. It comes with Championship Edition Blanca and Chun-Li and fires double trouble missiles.
Street Fighter 2!
Capcom Street Fighter 2, Sonic Boom Tank, Crimson Cruiser, and Beast Blaster come with Championship Edition figures, each sold separately.
That's a lot of stuff!
Alright, hey guys, and welcome back, as this week I'm taking a look at the Street Fighter 2 series of toys made by Hasbro in 1993. On January 6, 1991, Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior was released to arcades, and the video game world would never be the same again. Simply named Street Fighter, the game took arcades by storm with 8 selectable characters you could play as, fighting opponents from around the globe. Well, you guessed it, in the street. The hugely popular arcade game quickly saw a home version for the Super Nintendo released on June 10, 1992, which brought enhanced graphics as well as an expanded roster with 4 more selectable characters, now allowing you to play as the end bosses. Interestingly enough, 3 of the bosses' names were changed when the game was released internationally, mainly due to Balrog's original name of M. Bison. Capcom thought it might be too close to his name sounding like Mike Tyson, since the character was also a boxer in the game. So his name was changed to Balrog, Balrog was changed to Vega, and Vega was changed to M. Bison. The game's popularity was off the charts, with most players' favorite character being Ryu, with an iconic move like the Hadouken that even crossed into other video games like Mega Man X, giving Mega Man the power to use the special ability. Everything from a comic book released in 1993 by Malibu Comics to a theatrical Street Fighter movie released in 1994 was produced thanks to the game's immense popularity, so it's no wonder a toy line wasn't far behind. In 1993, Hasbro acquired the licensing rights from Capcom and produced the Street Fighter II line of action figures, playsets, and vehicles, noting, "in association with G.I. Joe," making the world of Street Fighter now a part of the G.I. Joe universe. The figures came packaged with different accessories and each had a special action feature, from karate chops to spin kicks, to bring their video game moves to life. Vehicles were made as well for the line, like M. Bison's Crimson Cruiser, Guy's Street Striker, Ryu's Karate Chopper, Blanca's Beast Blaster, and the Shadow Lu Headquarters playset. Although the toys sold well, the line of figures was discontinued by Hasbro in 1994, but the legacy of Street Fighter II would still continue on with more video game sequels and merchandise for years to come.
Alright, hey guys, and welcome back. As this week I wanted to take a look at one of my favorite toy lines ever, just because I think it's so creative and awesome. Even though you guys know I'm not a huge G.I. Joe fan, and although technically the base is kind of divided on this as to whether this is actually a G.I. Joe line or whether it isn't. I guess technically it is, but this is the 1993 Hasbro / licensed by Capcom Street Fighter II line of action figures, vehicles, playsets, and toys. And yeah, this is just awesome. I pretty much have the full line, at least of the figures. I only have one of the vehicles. I do not have the playset. There were a lot of different variations on the figures, just like with the Mortal Kombat line that I reviewed. And this is kind of my favorite realms and worlds when you get into G.I. Joe, with how they expanded on different things like this, and, you know, either took stuff, you know, from movies or video games, just totally out of the non-canon G.I. Joe universe, and I think that really expanded it and made it so much more fun. And one thing I will say about this is the Street Fighter II Turbo line of characters. So this wouldn't actually be like the line of characters that you could play as in the arcade release. In the original, if you want to get technical, Street Fighter II The World Warrior set of characters that you could actually play in the arcade. Like I mentioned before, of course there are some characters that had the name swap. Most famous of that would be originally M. Bison. It's not who you think it is. M. Bison was originally Balrog. He was named, I believe, in the Japanese release of the arcade version, until they decided to change it to Balrog because they thought that M. Bison and the appearance of Balrog would have been too close to Mike Tyson at the time, who of course was, in the prime of his career, and they thought that they might have a lawsuit. So you had M. Bison was originally, I believe, I might have this backwards, he was originally named Vega, and then I believe Vega was originally named Balrog, and so that's how the name swaps, they just kind of swapped everything over, to the left or right and shifted around, and that's how we got the character names that we know today. Now, I do have a few championship versions of the figures here, as well as the regular versions. And like I said, I do only have the one vehicle. Actually, we'll take a look at that first, since that is kind of blocking the view of all my figures here. And that is going to be M. Bison's Crimson Cruiser. And I've had this for quite a long time. I really like the colors. It is a little dusty, unfortunately, but still really looks nice. I like this kind of burgundy color because that matches very closely to the arcade when you're fighting him. It's kind of like a reddish burgundy, his outfit when you're fighting him as the final boss in Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So I think that's a good choice. I like the bright orange, of course, orange being, my favorite color, so any shade of that looks awesome, that pops really well. The stickers are absolutely phenomenal. You got, like, Balrog, the Street Fighter 2 logo. You got Vega with his claw and the mask with the claw going through his name and everything. Let's see what we got on this side. Of course, yeah, we got to have M. Bison here. And then we have Sagat. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments below about mispronunciation of names, but sorry, this is how I pronounced them growing up. And, some people say Sagat, some people say Sagat, but, I think it's more like Bob Saget. So I think his name is Sagat. That's how I pronounce it. And then around the back, we just got some basic stickers on the back, a lot of warnings, lights, and everything like that. So really cool. There's a lot going on. You can see the axle, the engine axle with some really nice bright colors, really big wheels. This is missing the accessories, like the different guns and stuff that would have mounted to the top and things like that. But something fun about this is that you can always have other figures hang on to the sides of the vehicle, and then if you have I can't remember Guile's name, the name of his the Sonic Boom tank or whatever, you can roll them into battle and they're all hanging off the sides and everything, so that's really fun. And then we can pop this up here, and I believe this is the championship edition of M. Bison, because this would have been the one that would have came, I think it was one or two figures that came with the Crimson Cruiser. So yeah, he is in his blue teal outfit here. And unfortunately, I don't have any of their accessories that go with them. The accessories can be pretty tricky to find. Get a little up-closer view of him there. And yeah, he's needs a little cleaning up there, but he's pretty much been in that state ever since I got him, over 10 years ago at this point, I think. And very cool, very neat. The blue's a little bit strange for me, but I still think it looks good. I like his shin guards. That definitely reminds me of in the game where he's jumping around, he does the toe tap, and then you position him like that, and slides in and everything. So very cool, looks good. Let's move the Crimson Cruiser out of the way here, and let's take a look at our lineup. So first off, we've got one of my very, very favorite characters. This is who I, one of three that I usually play as. My two go-to characters when I play, usually Ken and then Dalsim. Some people say Dalasim or whatever, but I just call him Dalsim. And I think he looks really, really awesome. He's got this, great face where, he's really intense. I like how the eyes are white, because he knows all of his different magic and stuff. He has the skulls on his neck, and he has these bracelets that go around his arm. That almost looks to me it accentuates his stretching abilities, with his yoga powers and stuff like that. I like the pants with the black rope around, and the paint on the head as well. So just a lot of detail, and that really pops and really makes you remember the character, you know, even with his ears, you know, the large ears and everything. So there's a lot of really nice detail on these. These are just as articulated as you would expect from any typical G.I. Joe figure. So you have like I think it's 6-7 points of articulation. You know, I have the shoulder, you have at the elbow, above the elbow, the neck, waist, knees, and at the hips with the legs. So very good. I don't know, let's see, can we get him into like a meditative pose here? Let's see, I don't know if we can. Kind of. And you could have him doing like yoga teleport. Yoga! So really cool. Really cool. One of my all-time favorites. I forget, let's see, I don't know if all of these, if their spring features work. I forgot about that. Yeah, so he has like this little chop thing. So I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's like his little punch. But just like with any of these figures that were made by like, you know, Hasbro and stuff, even like with the Mortal Kombat ones, it's usually one or two things. It's going to be like a leg, or it's going to be like a punch, or it might be like a little spin kick, like where they like just move to the side. Most of them, you know, they're not overly complicated. And here we have Blanca, which I think this looks good, but definitely missed some details here. There's no red hair on the front of his chest there. It's really interesting how this is a much more humanized version of him. So this almost looks like the Street Fighter, because this is not the championship edition of Blanca. So this kind of looks more like the Street Fighter the movie version of Blanca, because his face looks so much more like a person. So a little odd, but like not bad. Also strange, like seeing him wear like full gear pants with like shin guards and like darts or whatever on the side. And yeah, so this is like a much more humanized version of Blanca, which I guess is cool. But I kind of wish they would have stuck more towards the video game version. I think that would have been better. But still really nice, you know, good red hair, good detailings on the face, odd though it may be, with his outfit and clothes. I think the green, of course, you know, they definitely hit the mark on that. And the eyes and the teeth, they look really good. That's kind of like you know, how you remember him. Even though he should have fangs, though. So, I guess for, you know, sake of time and money and cost, they kept it more towards, like, just making modifications on, like, current Hasbro Joe, like, human molds, instead of doing something totally different. It was just easier to, you know, probably make a few slight modifications. I'm sure somebody probably out there knows that face is like a, you know, off of some other Joe figure or whatever, and they just did some modifications to it. But overall, still good and awesome, of course, to see Blanca in the lineup. And now I believe this is the championship edition of Chun-Li. And so this is, again, an interesting color swap because it's not her typical blue that we notice. But I think that the face looks good. And again, I think that this might have been like from the movie, like a movie take on the figure. She has her little hair bonnets. We have the red and the yellow outfit, the dress there, the wrist and shoulder guards, the her like karate sash or whatever that goes around the side. Let's see what she's got here. Oh my god, she has a gun? Well, that's really crazy. I don't ever remember that. So that's interesting. And again, what I mean, like when they did a lot of swaps from other figures, I wonder what Joe figure that is that they took that from and just added that on, because that is definitely all kinds of wrong. I don't even remember that in the movie. She has like a pendant or an amulet that she's wearing around her neck, the knee and shin guards. And I mean, overall she looks good, but I just think that it's kind of a little out of character to you know, Chun-Li and everything like that. Let's see, what was her, let's see if we can get her little thing to work. Let's see, I'm trying to figure it out here. Seems like it would be a kick, I mean, obviously, but I don't, oh, there we go. So there's her kick. It's a little spring forward kick. So that's what that is. Alrighty. And of course we have Guy. All my life growing up, I always called him Guile. I never really knew that the correct pronunciation was just Guy, but whatever. And of course, you know his background story. You know, he's like in like the United States Air Force and everything when you're fighting on his main stage there. And he does not stand up at all well. Like the O-ring, I believe, needs to be replaced. Plus, there's some damage on the front there. But I think this is a really good rendition or imagining of a Guy here. You know, that hair, my God, that trademark hair. You could serve dinner like off the top of his head, like it's like a perfect table. His face looks good. I mean, he actually looks a little frumpier and angrier than usual. Kind of looks like John Cena. I don't know, a little bit there. But overall, it looks good. I think that the detailing on the tank top, that looks a little phoned in. That it just doesn't pop with the rest of the color. I think they could have used a better choice of green, or maybe blended that a little bit better, because it just looks a little cheap. I like his his belt around the side, you know, military belt and stuff like that. The cargo pants, you know, those are definitely taken from another Joe. You know, that's definitely very easy to do. And I would have to say that his move is probably not going to work because of, let's see what he does here. Unless his move might be the Sonic Boom here. Hang on, I haven't really tried it yet. Let's see, I'm not really feeling any tension in any of the joints here, so if it was his legs, that is definitely busted. And yeah, I would think it'd probably be the Sonic Boom. I don't feel anything in there. But yeah, he really, well, for once he actually does stand, but only for a second. Yeah, he doesn't really stand that well. But overall, still a really good rendition of Guy there. I think he looks really cool. Alright, and he's missing his sash here. This is my personal favorite. This is 99% of the time who I play as. I always play as Ken. Wow, that face! They really could have done a lot better job on that face. That is pretty terrible there. That's not good sculpting at all. That really doesn't look anything like any version of Ken that I've ever seen. You got the hair looks good, outfit looks good, everything else looks good, but man, they really could have done a better job with making the face just look more like him. Let's see, I think his is also a his should be the spin kick. Some of them do that, but some of them don't. Like, in all honesty, I really haven't played with these that much, so I'm just kind of winging it with their special moves, because I honestly forget, like, which ones do which. But like I said, most of them, it's either, like, you know, like a little leg thing, or they just do, like, that little, you know, like a little arm thing, where just they do, like, a little karate chop or whatever. So it's nothing really special. But overall, I think that Ken looks good here. I think it's a pretty well done figure, aside from the face. There we go. Chun-Li seems to have had an accident there. And then, of course, I'm sure everybody's going to have a discussion about this in the comments. We have Ryu, however you want to say it. Ryu. I think Ryu is probably the correct pronunciation, even though I used to call him just Ryu, but then for whatever reason I started calling him Ryu. I have no idea why. But yeah, so I think this is a decent rendition of him. Face looks okay, kind of generic. Almost looks like Liu Kang from the Mortal Kombat series. And he has like a little psi weapon, a little ninja star on the other side. And I do have another figure that's very similar to this from I think it's the American Defense Force. I have one that's like almost like just a straight up rip-off of this figure from the Hasbro line. But overall, I think it looks pretty good, about as good as you're going to get for Ryu here, with his sash, his white karate outfit with a black belt, and the shins and everything. And then he has Yeah, it's supposed to be like, well, yeah, I guess you could either do like the Hadouken, or you could do like the, like the Dragon Punch, and all you can, and you can do the, whatever one floats your boat there, that'll work. And I think that he looks pretty good. That's pretty well done. Now, honestly, I think that some of the bad guys in this series, although it's really hard to classify them as bad guys, like E Honda, he was kind of like neutral. I think he was more good than bad in the series. Now, he looks a little bizarre because I have a rubber band around his waist. That's because there's a little catch for his leg. His leg would be sticking straight out. He has the same function as Chun-Li, so he would not be able to stand without that at all. And he should have a sash, I believe, that goes around his waist as well. But overall, I think that looks really good there. I love the work they did on his face and how that's painted and everything. So I think this is a really well done version of the sumo wrestler martial artist E Honda, and looks really great. Really simple, but sometimes simple is better. One thing I just realized, I do not have Zangief in my collection, or if I do, I've misplaced him. I was almost certain that I had him. I just noticed that as I was going through this. And this is one of the best done figures here that I've seen, in my opinion. We have Sagat here, and he just looks fantastic. He has the eye patch. He has the scar across his chest that he got. I believe it was from his first encounter when him and Ryu fought for the first time. Either him and Ryu or him and M. Bison, as I believe they both had an encounter, but I don't remember 100%. The trademark taped up hands, the shorts, the green belt, the taped up feet, even like the height. He stands like slightly, maybe not, but he looks like he stands slightly taller. I guess just because of the way that he's molded, he looks like a taller figure. And I think this is really, really excellently done. This is one of the best out of the entire series as far as being spot on for details. So definitely one of my favorites there. And then, of course, we have Balrog, or otherwise known as M. Bison, like I said before. And I think this is a very strange, outfit for him. So I don't know if this is more the movie version or, like, from the comics. But yeah, just this strange chest piece with the studded spikes. But it is, kind of like a military thing. So I get where they're going with that. But that just doesn't make sense at all. The face looks really good. The pants, the belt, everything else looks good. I don't get the outfit that they're going with, but overall, still, I think that a really good looking figure, and I think they probably did as good as they could with Balrog. Except I don't get why he doesn't have like the boxing gloves or something. They should, just gave him. Well, actually, I think he did come with boxing gloves accessories. Actually, I'll correct myself on that. But that would have been kind of cool. Like, I think the same with, like, was Pit Viper or Pit Boss or whatever in the original Joe line had that. So, that would have been cool to see him with that as well. But still, really nice and looks really good. And another figure that we're going to take a look at here that is probably one of my top three, of course, is Vega. Now, he is really, really hard to find with his claw. And even though he's a little messed up, he needs to be cleaned up. He looks absolutely fantastic. He's got like all these different weapons, so I think that really helps to to accentuate the fact that he's like an assassin. He's got like a sai, like nunchucks, like a sword, some other thing off to the side here, a little dagger looks like, I guess. The mask is really well done. I think that looks really nice. And they even kept his hair, which that's a really cool detail. The gloves, the trademark purple and yellow pants, with the, he's got the different shurikens on there. Let's see, what does he do? I think, yeah, he does a chop, does he? Or does he do a kick? Let's see. Nope, I think whatever his action feature is definitely... Oh, wait a minute, there we go. There we go. I think that's what I was missing on a couple of these guys. So there's his action feature, which actually that works really well, and I believe, let me double check myself, I think that might have been also with Ken, I think. Let's see. Feels like it is, but it also feels like that might be kind of damaged. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, because I can definitely feel there's some resistance there and not in his arms. And I wonder if Guy's was that too. Because like I said before, I wasn't 100% familiar with all of their... no, wow, if it is, that definitely is not working. That is super loose. And then, of course, we'll take one last quick look again at M. Bison here. Even though I already took a look at him. Let's see, does he have... what does he have here? No. It's weird, a lot of these action features, they just don't work over the years. They get broken, so I don't know what his would have been, because there's no tension there on anything. But already looks pretty good, as I said, even though it's not his usual colors. Still a pretty decent version of M. Bison. And we'll bring the Crimson Cruiser back into the shot here. And that's going to do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed taking a look at this really cool line of toys made by Hasbro and licensed by Capcom of the Street Fighter II. Like I said, this is pretty much most of the original series here, minus Zangief. And I just think it's a really cool line. So I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at that with me today, and I will see you back here next time. Till then, take care.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and you can follow me at Facebook at King of Retro or Twitter at #8ByteBrian. See you next time.